Hey guys, so for today's video, I am going to be recreating this really cool set that I saw on Instagram. I'll leave or I'll insert a picture of it on the screen, but I just thought it was really cool because it looked like short French tips, but then like a clear extension beyond that, and then it had like 3D gold chrome design underneath of that. And I don't know, I just thought it was super cool looking and it was really unique and different. I actually saw this quite a while ago, sometime mid last year. I saw it and I've been wanting to recreate it ever since I very first saw it. Um I will say though that it did have me a little intimidated for some reason. Um, I'm not 100% sure why I was so intimidated to do it, but honestly, it wasn't really that hard of a set to do. Um, so to start off, I'm just taking Cuffing Season from Ballpit, and I'm painting like the first or like the top half of the nail, so like the cuticle nail bed area, just so I can get the nail bed color fully down. If you wanted to, you could just do like the nail bed area and then with your smile line and then go in with your French tip. But I felt like for me it'd be easier if I just did what would look like, your natural nail and like your nail bed. Um, and get that fully painted on first, and then I can use that as a guideline for like my French tip or whatever. So I'm just taking a liner brush. I want to say this is a 12 millimeter liner brush that I'm using here, just to draw a line straight across the nail, because again, this is going to be like the nail bed area of a natural nail, or well, to look like a natural nail. And then I will take the brush straight from the bottle and fill in that top portion there. I think I only did 2 coats of this, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. And I just realized we're like halfway through January, and I have not wished you guys a happy new year or anything. So happy new year, even though, we're pretty much halfway through January. I hope you guys had a great Christmas if you celebrated Christmas. Um, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever all the holidays are there. I think like winter, people celebrate the solstice, like winter solstice and whatever. There's Yule or all of that. So whatever holiday you celebrate around that time, I hope you had a great one. And if you don't celebrate any holidays, I hope you had a great time then too. You were able to get some, well deserved rest and a break. Hopefully you got a break, because I don't know, the end of the year for me, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, is always absolutely insane. There's so much going on, decorating for all of the holidays, and then like Christmas shopping and everything, buying everyone presents. It's just really stressful. And then that also seems to be the time when, anything that could go wrong goes wrong. And, you get a flat tire, your car breaks down or something. So now you have this expense that you weren't planning on top of all the other expenses that you have going on, and like buying all the presents and whatever. So hopefully, that was a good little time for everyone, and you all got to spend time with people you love and, just relax and do things you enjoy. And I hope you all had a very good New Year and whatever kind of celebrations you do for New Year's. I hope you had a lot of fun. Um, but yeah. Also, does anybody like make New Year's resolutions? I don't, because I know that I'm not going to stick with them. Um, I used to make New Year's resolutions, especially always in school. Like, whenever it was like coming up on winter break, or even immediate, like when we came back from winter break, that was always something the teachers would ask for some reason. Like, I'm in elementary school. Why are you asking me about New Year's resolution? I don't know nothing about that. I mean, even in like middle school and high school, they would ask that. And I mean, I would say something, or like, I always heard people talking about New Year's resolutions and things that they were doing. So I just kind of said the same things as like I would see other people say. And then I think about like junior or senior year, I started like actually making real New Year's resolutions and like actually trying to stick with them. It never worked out. Even when I was just copying what other people were saying, like, I never stuck with a New Year's resolution. So I quit making those. I don't do any like New Year's resolutions or like create any like mood boards for the years or anything that people do like that. I just, I don't know. I don't really set any expectations because I don't want to like expect things to go a certain way and then they not, and then I'd be disappointed, So I'm kind of like hope for the best but expect the worst. So then when things do go better than planned, I am excited for it and I'm really happy that things went better than planned. But if they, end up not working out and things are not good, then I'm not disappointed at all. Um, but anyhow, if you have any New Year's resolutions for this year or any plans that you hope to accomplish this year, I would love to hear them. So just leave them down in the comments below. So after I got the nude part painted, I went in with the black from Ballpit. And before I did this, I did wipe the nails off with some alcohol to remove the sticky layer, like I always do whenever I'm doing any kind of nail art on top of a previous layer of polish, because that sticky layer does tend to act similarly to a blooming gel. Not to the same extent as a blooming gel, but enough to where you're going to notice that your lines aren't as crisp and clean as they could be. So I'm just taking that 12 millimeter liner brush again and doing the French tips on all of these nails. So it does look like a natural length type of nail, I feel like, or like a shorter length nail. To kind of give that illusion of like, your natural nail, and then you have like this clear extension on the end of it. So yeah, just going through creating those French tips on there. I did only do one coat of this. This black is a really good one coat coverage black. However, whenever I do like an entire nail with the black, I will, well, it depends on like what's going on top, but usually I will do 2 coats of it just to make sure everything is completely covered and that it's like evenly dispersed on the nail, because sometimes you can spread polish a little too thin in one area or whatever, so it kind of looks a little see-through in one spot, whereas a different spot looks more opaque. However, because I was just doing a French tip and I was doing this with a liner brush, it was easier to get it all covered up and not have any like thinner parts or anything. And yeah, I spent a good minute on these French tips. I honestly hate doing French tips on press-ons. They are a little more difficult for me rather than doing them on an actual person, because French tips are pretty customizable, and I like to do French tips based off of the structure of like a natural nail and like someone's natural nail. So I'll start it in a certain spot and I'll have it go down a certain way, length down the nail, solely based off of, the natural nail of someone and like the natural structure of someone's nail and fingers. So it's a little difficult when it comes to doing it on press-ons because I don't have that. I just kind of have to make it up, and I just kind of do whatever I feel is right on the nail, or like what I feel like doing in that moment. So yeah, I just kind of went with that first pinky, or with the pinky nail there, and then just kind of eyeballed it to make sure that the rest of the nails are as closely the same as that one. And then once I got all of the French tips done, I went ahead and cured for 60 seconds. And in the original, you saw it there in the beginning, it was just normal white French tips, and then the 3D design at the bottom was in gold. And I did really like that, but I'm not really a huge gold fan. I don't really like gold at all. And then I don't know. I'm also not really a fan of like white nails and like white French tips. So I wanted to switch up the colors a little bit here and do something that would fit me more, and just something that I liked a little bit more than the white and gold. However, I do think that the white and gold looked really good together. White and gold does look really well together, and I felt like it worked really well for the original set, but I wanted to switch it up, do it a little bit differently, make it mine. I don't want to copy exactly that set. So that's why I went in with black for my French tip instead of doing white, because black is a little bit more my speed, and like that's what I prefer. Like if I were to have an entire set, all 10 nails be French tips, I would probably do black French tips, either that or blue. But I don't know, I just felt like the black French tip was gonna go with more colors when it came to the chrome, and I didn't know what color I was gonna do for the chrome at this point yet, but I felt like black was going to match better than like, and I would have more options for colors as opposed to doing like a blue French tip. So anyhow, after I got all of that done, I took my anti chrome matte top coat. I always have to pause whenever I say that because I always want to try and say anti matte chrome top coat, but it's the anti-chrome matte top coat. Anyhow, I applied that to the French tip nail bed part of this set, and if I did get any on the clear part, that has nothing on it, that was fine, because all this is going to do is make it so that the chrome doesn't stick to the base, and I don't want the chrome to stick to the clear part of the nail anyways. I mean, it wasn't going to stick either way, whether I had this top coat on it or not, because that is a smooth surface. It has nothing on it. There's no like top coat, base coat, anything on it. I just left them plain how they were, so I wasn't too concerned about applying the matte top coat onto the bottom half there. If you are doing this on like um freshly laid like acrylic or polygel or builder gel or something, you probably might want to put the anti-chrome matte top coat down, just to make sure that the chrome isn't going to stick to anything that you don't want it to stick to. But because I was just doing these on press-ons and I didn't put anything on there, I was like, it's not going to stick anyways. So yeah, I just applied that, and then I went ahead, cured that for 60 seconds. And then for the 3D part of this, I think this is what had me the most nervous for this entire set, because if I'm being honest here, I'm not the best when it comes to doing 3D designs like this. I just feel like I don't have the best control over the product whenever I'm doing designs like this. Even with trying super hard and trying different like ways of doing things and stuff, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't always work out the way that I see it working out for other people, and it gets really frustrating. And whenever I do designs like this, I am kind of like, why am I doing this? Because I know it doesn't work out the way that I would hope it to work out. But for this, I mixed up some rhinestone glue and took a little dab of the black polish and mixed those together, so that way I could have the black like 3D gel here. I think there are some brands that just have it like already pre-made up and whatever, so you don't have to mix it up yourself. I see people using it all the time on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff, but they never like show what they're using. And some people are weird on like Instagram and TikTok, and people will be asking them what they used, like the different products they used, and they won't answer for some reason. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Anyhow, so I'm like, I know I can mix up some rhinestone glue and some black polish, and I will get whatever they're using, or like a similar type of gel that they're using. So if you don't have the thick 3D black gel that other people are using, you can just mix up some rhinestone glue and a little bit of black polish together. You don't want to put too much black polish in it, otherwise it will have some trouble curing because you are doing such a thick glob there. And you want to be able to make sure that everything is getting cured fully and properly. So, and you really don't need a lot anyhow, especially if you're using like a really pigmented black. But even if it is a little more see-through, it's fine too, because you are just going to be putting the chrome on top. You do just want a little bit of color there, so that way the chrome isn't see-through. It actually looks opaque. But anyhow, I'm just taking my liner brush here. I think I'm still using the same 12 millimeter liner brush that I have been using for this entire set. And I'm just doing some little 3D designs here. I was doing some little swoopy lines and some dots. I was trying to make like a similar type of design that the original person did, but like I said, I struggle a little bit with doing like 3D designs like this. It is a little tricky for me. So it didn't turn out quite like I was wanting it, and it was very different than the original, but also I liked it. I wasn't mad at it. I will say a couple of the nails are better than some of the others, but overall, I think it all worked out really well. And you could see on that pinky nail, that was my first nail that I did. That was my tester nail. My pinky nail usually is always my tester nail. Um, just because it's like farther away from me, like when I have the nails on, it's farther away from me. I don't see it as often compared to like my thumb. It's like right there in my face. I see it all the time, so I want that one to be the last one that I do, so that hopefully I can have like a good design that's like in front of my face all the time. And like if I'm on my phone typing or whatever, I'm seeing my thumb there the entire time. So I want to look at the good one rather than looking at the bad one all the time. Although whenever I do these press-ons for videos, I don't wear them at all. I don't make them to be worn. I just make them for the video to show like the process of doing stuff and like for the tutorials and whatever. So yeah, these weren't made to be worn for any sort of time except for, you know, the few minutes that it takes for me to do my finishing shots. But still, I still do like to start with the pinky just because it's kind of a habit now, but still also because it's still the farthest one away. And the pinky is, whenever I take pictures, it's always grouped with the other three fingers, and then the thumb is always by itself. So I do want the thumb to look a little better than all the rest, because like the pinky can easily get overshadowed by the other three nails if they're better. Like, who's looking at the pinky when the other three look better, right? Whereas with the thumb, it gets in a picture by itself, and I don't want something looking bad like front and center like that, you know? Anyhow, with the pinky, I did do it in sections because I thought that would be easier, maybe. But I kind of was annoyed with it because I did the first little section and then I cured that for... I can't remember how long I cured these for. I did these a while ago. Either 30 or 60. I think I did 60 seconds. I think with the E-Nail Couture Squeeze Gummy Jelly, which is what I used as the rhinestone glue mixture, if you're using that for like chrome stuff, you do want to cure it for the full 60 seconds. It works a lot better that way, and you get that smooth, shiny chrome finish instead of the grainy, glittery finish. So I'm either that or 30 seconds, but I'm pretty sure it's 60 seconds. So I think I went ahead, cured that first section for 60 seconds, then did the chrome, and then did the second section for 60 seconds, and it worked fine, and I didn't have any issues with doing it that way. But also I had to do multiple cures for one nail, and I'm like, I kind of really don't want to do that. So on the ring nail there, I tested out if I did the entire nail design on there and then did one cure and then the chrome, and it worked out fine too. I didn't have any issues with any of the rhinestone glue like leveling out and like melting into each other. So that's ended up being what I did for the rest of this set. Just did the entire nail and then cured for 60 seconds. That way I wasn't doing multiple cures on each nail because that was kind of annoying. But if you are more comfortable going in sections and like curing and then doing the chrome and all of that, then you can do that. That is perfectly fine. Also, whenever I do chrome, I do it all in one go. Um, not not all in one go, but like I do one nail at a time. Because you'll see people will do all their designs and then cure all of the nails at once and then go in and do the chrome. Whenever I do that, by the time, so like if I were to do all 5 of these and then like cure and then do the chrome, I would get the pinky nail and it would be fine, and then the ring nail would be fine, and then by the time I get to the middle nail, it would start looking a little grainy, and then the pointer nail would look a little more grainy, and then the thumbnail would be super grainy and glittery and wouldn't look like that smooth chrome finish. So that's why I do one nail at a time instead of doing all of them at the same time, because I don't know what is going on there and like how other people can do all the chrome all at once and it still have that smooth shiny chrome finish, whereas when I do it, it starts looking out shiny smooth chrome and then it ends up being grainy glittery mess. So yeah, I do one nail at a time. I'm doing each design on the nail, then I cure that for 60 seconds, rub the chrome on, and then move on to the next nail, do the same thing, do the design, cure it, chrome it, so on and so forth. Doing a fantastic job at staying in frame. It was a little bit difficult to see because I'm doing this on a clear background, so I'm seeing, everything behind it on the nail. And then I also have some of the tips are on black stands, and then I think one or two of them was on a white stand, so it was harder to see on the black stands because the black on black. So I think I just had it like in my face so I could see what I was doing, and I wasn't really focusing or paying attention to if I was in frame. That tends to happen quite a bit, I feel like. And then sometimes if I felt like the 3D wasn't 3D enough, I would flip the nail over to kind of like gravity pull it down and have it like be bumped up off the nail a little bit. And then once I got the chrome on, I would just dust it off with my fan brush like I always do. There is so much like chrome and glitter in this fan brush because I always use it to dust off like chrome and glitter and stuff. But it doesn't leave any chrome or glitter behind on the nails. It's just all stuck up in that brush. But yeah, that is basically how I went about doing this design and how if you were to recreate it, you would go about it as well. Also, I decided on purple chrome I was sitting there digging through all my chromes, and I was like trying to figure out what kind of chrome I wanted to do. I was like, I could do hollow chrome. I think that would look really cool with the black. I also did think about doing blue chrome because blue is my favorite color. But then I was like, I feel like I should do something that I don't usually do. I feel like silver hollow chrome is what I pretty much always do. Like either plain silver chrome or silver hollow chrome is like default go-to whenever I do chrome. And then I also thought I would do something other than blue because, again, default color, my go-to is blue. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm always immediately like, I want to do blue. So I was like, let me do something different. I have like a pink hollow chrome and like a orangey yellowy kind of hollow chrome. I think I used the yellow one on my fishing lure set. I might have used the pink one on that one too. I can't remember. But I have like green chrome, and there's rose gold and pink. I don't know what all other colors I have. I have quite a few chrome powders. They're all just kind of thrown in my nail art drawer. I need to get in there and organize it. But anyhow, I was like, I'm gonna do purple. I don't feel like I do purple a lot when it comes to nail art. And if I had to choose a second favorite color, it would actually probably be black. I would go blue, black, and then purple. Because I get black in like everything. All my clothes are pretty much all black. Any kind of like decoration I will get in black. Like my e-file is black, my nail lamp is black, the lights I use to film, like, they're black. The stuff that I use to hold different brushes and stuff on my desk, like, they're black. I pretty much always go default to black just because I'm like, it goes with everything. I don't know. So I decided to go with something that wasn't my default color choice for this and decided to go with purple. And I think it looks really good. The black and the purple look really good together. Like I said, black goes with everything. I also feel like colors pop a lot more with black or like on black compared to white. Like, I know they show up really well on white because like it's white, it's the lightest color there is. Like, obviously it's gonna pop, but I feel like when you have colors on black or up against black, like, they just pop a little bit more to me up against black than they do with white. Like, I don't know, I just like the way colors look up against black. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say here. I think I pretty much talked for almost the entire video, but I'm just gonna let this play out a bit, and I will be back whenever I need to be back. So now that all that is done, I'm taking my Jinbei Crazy Top in standard. This top coat does come in 3 different types. There's thin, standard, and thick. I have the standard because I wanted to see like how that was before going in with the thick, because everyone says that the thick is great for 3D stuff, and I just wanted like a normal top coat, but this standard is pretty thin. It's a lot thinner than what I like for a top coat. So I'm really curious to know like how the thin one is, if the standard is as thin as it is. But anyhow, I've been loving using this for chrome, like isolated chrome designs, and like top coating those. I've mentioned this in some of my previous videos where I've done isolated chrome designs, but if you haven't seen those, I like to use this for my when I'm top coating any isolated chrome designs, because if you've ever done chrome, then you know that it does tend to contaminate your top coat, and it's really annoying. It gets all in the brushes, or all in the brush, and then it like gets all in the jar or the bottle, and it's just really annoying. Now you have a contaminated top coat that is now like a glitter top coat, and that messes up any kind of nail art or set that you do that you don't want glitter for. So that's why I really like using this Jinbei top coat. And you don't have to use the Jinbei top coat. Any kind of potted top coat like this is going to work really well, because you use a separate brush for it that you can easily clean out. Wash it around in some alcohol, remove all of those little glitter chrome particles out of it, and then you have a nice clean brush that doesn't have chrome or glitter in it. Also, if there is any chrome that or glitter that gets into the pot, it all just sinks down to the very bottom of the pot, so you don't have to worry about like the chrome and glitter floating around inside of anything. I feel like it probably doesn't float around inside of the bottles either, and it's really mainly just the brush and like the chrome powder that's stuck in the bristles of the brush that are contaminating it, really. So, but like with this, you can see it's at the bottom and you know you're not scooping that out. So that's why I really like using a potted top coat whenever I'm doing isolated chrome designs now, because it just is a lot easier when it comes to like cleanup and everything, and you can actually see you're not scooping up any of those little chrome particles because they're sunk all the way down to the bottom of the pot there. So anyhow, I just went in, top coated the entire nail, and I did try my best to like thin it out pretty thin over the bottom half with the 3D, because I wanted to still have like that 3D texture and for you to see that it is still super 3D. So I was trying to thin it out and make sure that it wasn't like pooling around all the little bumps and lumps and everything. And then once I got the top coat on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And this is the finished result. I think this set is super cool. It is really different. It's really kind of weird and kind of out there. It's not something I've ever seen done before, seeing the original creator do it. And I don't know, there's just something about it that I love. But there's also something about it that has me like, this is so weird. Like, it's not a conventional design by any means. Like, it is weird because you have, like, you know, your normal French tip nail, and then that's usually where it stops, right? But on this set, it like extends into this clear tip with like crazy 3D design on it. And I don't know, I absolutely love it. I know in the comments on the original creator, people are like, I kind of hate this, but I also kind of love it. And there are plenty of people that are like, yeah, no, this looks ugly, or like they're like, this is stupid or whatever, which I honestly hate when people do that. Like, just move on. You don't like it, that's fine. Go away. You don't need to, you know, try and tear someone down because they wanted to do something different than what, you know, everyone else is doing. But yeah, I don't know. I really love this set. Like, I kind of really want to do this on myself because I love how it looks. And like, you could do all kinds of different 3D stuff with it. And like, if you're not a huge fan of doing like 3D stuff on your nails, you could encapsulate it even. Like, after you get the chrome on, just encapsulate it, and then it's like 3D encapsulated design, which also looks really cool. But I do like 3D stuff on my nails. But yeah, overall, it's just like this weird, funky, different kind of design that you don't typically see. And that's why I love it so much, because it is weird and different. And I like weird and different things. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.